Well, it has been the worst floods in the state of Jammu and Kashmir in many, many decades. How is the state government coping with such demands of evacuation? Joining me at this moment is the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Mr. Omar Abdullah. Omar, there has been a complete communication breakdown at this moment. The world almost does not know the realities of the floods at this moment. What is the situation right now?
Well, what you started with is the exact truth. There has been a complete breakdown of communication. The only communication with the outside world has been through the handful of satellite phones that we have, and using the backbone of communication that the Air Force and Army have set up here. Cell phone networks are completely down, landlines and internet services are completely down. I have been given to understand that BSNL has flown in 600 kilos of equipment, and some engineers they're in the process of trying to set up a temporary telephone exchange so that communication with the outside world can be re-established. There are areas of Srinagar that are completely cut off. South Kashmir is cut off from central Kashmir, and the Kashmir Valley is cut off from the rest of the country because large parts of the national highway on Jammu side have been washed away. At this point in time, we have multiple areas of focus. In those areas where people are marooned, our effort is to try and rescue them using helicopters, using boats. Where rescue is not possible due to various reasons, we are trying to drop supplies. At the same time, work on restoring communication links is on. This is an unprecedented situation. In nobody's lifetime do we remember waters at this level. It's something that there was no way we could have prepared for. That having been said, through the concerted efforts of the central government, the army, the air force, the paramilitary forces, the state government, operations have been ramped up, supplies are arriving, and we're doing our best to get them to people.
But Omar, the question really is because we spoke to several survivors and those people who were evacuated, and they say there's a deep sense of resentment against the state government. They say that the state government and the chief minister only woke up after the Prime Minister Narendra Modi came here. Is that true, or how do you deal with such protests?
Actually, we woke up long before the Prime Minister came. Our warning about the situation went out before the Prime Minister arrived. The Prime Minister didn't assume that a situation would arise. The Prime Minister came to see the aftermath of a situation having developed. And to be honest with you, the problem only started that morning. Up until that morning, the situation, though difficult, was well and truly under control. It's only when the Jhelum burst its banks and large parts of Srinagar city got flooded that we were dealing with an unprecedented situation. Now, I have no problem with criticism, because that criticism is coming from people who are alive. And to my mind, that is the thing I take the most satisfaction from. Dead people can't criticize. So if somebody is criticizing my government and they're doing it from a relief camp, it means they've been rescued. And as far as I'm concerned, that is the biggest cause of satisfaction for me. It means they live to see another day. Now, whether they were rescued in an army boat, in an air force boat, in a civilian boat, whether an NDRF boat reached them, whether my state government helicopter pulled them off the roof, I'm not concerned. My only concern is that they are alive, and that's what I'm grateful for.
But Umar, this morning Saifuddin Soz, one of the senior Congress leaders here, visited one of the relief camps, and he was booed away. There were slogans not just against Saifuddin Soz, but against you also. And these were the common Kashmiris from the Srinagar city and the adjoining some rural areas.
Like I said, I mean, the fact that they are alive to shout slogans is enough of a satisfaction for me. I'm glad they're shouting slogans. It means they're alive. It means they've been rescued. It means they've been accommodated somewhere. Where they've been accommodated is not my concern. The fact is they've been rescued. This is a joint effort. The problem we have is that we are trying to segregate this into various different operations. It is one humanitarian operation. What clothes you wear, what hat you wear, what office you belong to is of secondary importance. The only concern I have right now is to ensure that people get rescued and people get relief. What channels that relief takes, what channels that rescue takes, I have no concern.
My next question is the same. How do you ensure that? Because the question is, we visited the areas which are affected. There are thousands of people who are still stranded. Many of them haven't eaten for at least 3 days. And they say that there has been nobody from the state government that we have heard from. We have only heard from the Indian Air Force and the Indian Army. There's no state administration officer or anybody that has reached out to them. So do you think, I'm just asking you because there have been such natural tragedies, that there is some weakness in the coordination level between the central government and the state government?
There's no weakness in the coordination. If there was weakness in the coordination, even the Army and the Air Force wouldn't have reached them. How is the Army and Air Force able to reach these people? Because the state government is working together with the Army and the Air Force. Why am I here? I could just as easily be sitting at home then. I'm here because I'm in touch with the Army, I'm in touch with the Air Force, I'm trying to make sure that the right stuff goes to the right place and that we are able to deliver relief to the people who require it as soon as they require it. Has this been a 100% perfect operation? No. I mean, please understand, we are not even able to communicate with people. I have not spoken to more than 90% of my cabinet since this problem arose. I am not able to, other than through a cell phone, and talk to somebody who has a cell phone on the other end. I'm not able to talk to people here. So, within the constraints that we are operating under, the fact that we are able to get relief to people is what I take satisfaction from. I again make the point, I don't care what uniform the provider of that relief is wearing, so long as the relief and rescue takes place.